Now I've got a fun little pattern for you today. It's one I came up with a couple of years ago when I was experimenting with glass beads from a craft store. So I've got this big tub right here. It's a pound of glass beads, all kinds of colors, all sizes. And I'll take a hackle pliers, put a hook on it, just sweep it through there and see what bead comes up. And the first ones of these I tied, I used starling for a tail. So I was kind of calling this a starling and glass. But later I ended up switching the tail to some black soft hackle, I think hen feathers. So ultimately I ended up calling this thing the Glass Hen. It's pretty much an attractor all-purpose nymph with the profile of a caddis pupa. And I say attractor all-purpose because really I tie this thing in all kinds of colors. I'll really just pick a color scheme based on the hook or the bead that randomly came up when I swept the hook through the tub. You can get a lot of mileage from a simple little pattern like this. The only constant in the ones I've tied is a dark, hackle barbs for a tail. It is a quick tie, but it's pretty fun, and the thing's done pretty well for me. So there it is in my vise, what I've been calling my Glass Hen. Now it's not a specific fly per se, it's just kind of a type of fly, because here's what I'll do. This is a size 16 curved shank hook, either clink hammer or scud. Take that and just swipe it through my big bucket of glass beads, see what comes up. In this case, I got a black, I think that's a black. It's got maybe a little bit of translucency to it. And oftentimes, you never know what's going to come up. And the crazier it is, the more fun it can be. So that might be a little bit big for this, but I think we're going to be okay. Now let's catch in our black thread, and I'm not going to put a ton back behind that bead because it would really just take a lot to really lock it in, but we'll lock it in with the wire body here shortly. But before we catch the body in, just take a black hen feather, a few barbs from it. There we go. Not real long, but not insignificant either. So let's catch this in and see how it looks. Okay, I think that's going to be fine. I'll take our thread up close to the back of the bead here. And really, depending on what color the bead is, how to determine what color body I want. So this size 16, I want to go with a medium wire. I don't know, is silver going to look okay right there? Maybe red? We could certainly do a red, that would look pretty cool, but I think I'm going to go with a green on this one. This dark black and green will look pretty cool. And again, this is a medium wire. If you were tying this smaller, now you could certainly go down to a brassy, but I think a brassy on this size would just be a little small. And if you want to poke it up in the bead there, you can. Just be careful that you don't go too far because you're going to end up with a little sharp point right there in front of your bead. So I'm going to just go right in the back of that bead and try not to go too far into it, and then catch it in right here, kind of on the side toward the top, and then pretty close wraps going all the way back. And something you can do right here, and I used to do it on a few of these, just spin some thread wraps and build a thicker body, kind of get a taper. But I think it really doesn't matter. I think whether this is a flat body going all the way up, uniform, or it's tapered, I really don't think it makes a big difference. So I just kind of go with it, and for the sake of speed, I just don't worry about a taper, and then just wrap this wire up, touch and turns, almost all the way up there to the bead. Okay, I think that's fine. We got a little space behind it where we can catch it off and then do our thorax. So this is a 70 denier thread and a medium wire, so it'll take a few extra wraps to really bind it in. But after you helicopter it off, just be careful that you don't have a sharp little nub right there. And if you do, just a few loose wraps right here to try and bury it. Now leave your thread kind of the front of that wire, but at the back of where the thorax is going to be. Let's put some wax on it. And here's where you have another choice. What color thorax do you want? And I like a synthetic flashy dubbing, like an ice dub or a diamond bright or sow scud or something. In this case, I'm going with, this is a UV2 diamond bright, and we're gonna go with a green. I think black would be just fine right here. But I've got wax on my thread, I've licked my fingers a little bit. It'll help me get a kind of tight noodle right here. And you can really put a little bit more than you think you might need on this. I think it'll turn out just fine. So this noodle's about, I'd say 2 inches, maybe 2.5 inches right here. And I could have gone with even more than that, but I think we're gonna be fine with that. So I'm gonna whip finish this, and we might wanna pick a little bit of it out here in just a second. And one other secret on these flies I'm doing, I don't use head cement. I'll just take my little popsicle stick here with Velcro on it and then just fluff a little bit of this out if I want, or not worry about it. But either way, I think we got a fishable fly right here. So that's it, my friends. I appreciate you watching the Glass Hen. Y'all take care. We'll see you next time.